So the negative. So it's a philosophy to be aware of that could impact on your life. Now, here's some examples. Is you could put some catalogues out, or you could watch TV. You could eat an apple or eat a bar of chocolate. It's making those simple decisions that could affect you later on in life. Drop 50 flyers lunchtime if you're working, or go down the pub lunchtime if you're working. Contact a prospect, or wash the car. Eat a healthy salad, or get a takeaway. I wish I really ingrained in some of these years ago, because it would have made a difference to me. 20 minutes exercise versus watching Coronation Street. They're just on their own. They're just tiny little things, but when they're added up, could actually direct the route you take further in life. Watch a training video or watch Big Brother. So that slight edge, whether you take a positive or a negative route, when it's all added up, could make a big difference. Now, an example of this could be getting flyers out or prospect cards out. Now, if you get 50 flyers out per day over 10 years, that's 180,000 plus flyers. Now, somewhere along the way, you're probably going to get a distributor to join, which means you're going to have a growing business. Now, I religiously, out and about doing my day-to-day stuff, pop out cards all over the place, all the time. Whether I'm on the motorway, I put them out in the loos and the services. Whether I'm at a crossing somewhere, put them out where the little pedestrian lights are. On people's cars, wherever I park, I drip out those cards all the time. And, for ages and ages and months, sometimes you don't get anything out of it. Then out of the blue, you get somebody who sparks some interest. And we just had somebody recently, Louise, who's just come on board, threw a card, and she picked that up at a crossing. And I've been dripping stuff out there for ages. But she picked it up, and it was the timing for her. And it was just the perfect business for her to begin to get into. And she's certainly in it for the long haul. And over time, I think she's going to become, a really great distributor. And it's because of the compound effect that I kept doing it, something's happened down that route. So, 50 flyers out a day, it's not a lot. And over 10 years, you could build a really serious business. So that's the compound effect. As an example, extreme, eat a beef burger every day for 10 years, you could end up a little bit like me. My previous life in the civil service was, I was actually on the road a lot, picking up food wherever I was, and it usually ended up being a McDonald's half the time. I ended up having a heart attack. Hey, the McDonald's at that point was jolly nice, didn't really impact anything at that point. I didn't drop down dead on my McDonald's, but a lot of McDonald's ended up steering me towards probably a heart attack. To really know what the compound effect is all about. Now, if you don't know this, this is a really good thing you can show new distributors, because it highlights the compound effect big time. And it's the compound effect of doubling a penny. I'll run you through this. If you have the choice of taking £1 million in a suitcase right now, or doubling a penny and see what happens over 30 days, here's the decision. Do you want that suitcase full of money, £1 million, or risk doubling a penny? Now, a lot of people who haven't seen this will probably say, well, no, I'll grab the suitcase of £1 million, because it's kind of the obvious choice. But the informed person, if they understand this, may go down a different route. So let me just show you quickly the impact on this. So it's doubling a penny. Day 1, it's a penny. Day 7, it's 64p. So in a week, nothing massive. And a week is roughly a quarter of 30 days. Halfway through now, day 8, day 15, doubling that penny, 128 becomes 256 and so on. Day 15, £163. Hey, do you still want to take the route of doubling a penny, or do you want to grab that £1 million in the suitcase? Okay, we're on to the final third. We're in the last leg of this. Day 16 to day 23, £1 million in the suitcase is sitting there waiting for you to grab it. Day 16, £327. Day 23, getting interesting, £41,000. But still nowhere near $1 million. Day 30, because we're doubling each time, 83,000 becomes 167,000. Day 29 is 2 million. day 30 is 5 million. This is doubling, multiplication and doubling a penny. So clearly the compound effect of doing something consistently over a relatively short period of time can have dramatic results. Now, looking at your Clean Easy business, just on the basis of you sponsoring 5 effective people are out there working the business, teaching them to sponsor 5 times 5 is 25, teach them to do 5, etc., 125. Well, if you've got 125 people ordering in your business, you've got roughly £100,000 turnover in your business. Now, depending on the structure of your business, that could be at SED level, but it's certainly bringing you in a really tidy income, and that's just getting started in this business. If that goes on to 125, sponsoring 5, etc., 625, and then times 5 over 3,000, the collective of that, this is the compound effect, 3,905. And if they were just doing £800 per period, and remember, our average in our group tends to be around the £800 of people ordering, will give you a turnover of £3 million a month. That's Gavin Scott's turnover. So, you know, it's just understanding that it's all about finding good people and just the compound effect of eventually those 5 people find 5 people, etc. Obviously, this is there are variants on all this. You know, you could be not. This is not a black and white scenario. You know, you could sponsor 10 good people, but in this example, find 5 serious people and teach them to find 5 serious people. You can actually have a business that will give you a growing income for life. And again, that's the compound effect. Understanding this compound effect on day-to-day activities and decisions gives you the slight edge. This is where the philosophy, if I can say it, getting the teeth back in, gives you the slight edge. And it's the slight edge of good activity and bad activity determines your success. And good activity is simple stuff such as doing regular IPAs, income producing activity. So actually spending time on Facebook, for instance, where you're not actually getting any activity done that's going to lead to maybe leads or training or actually sales or orders, things that you're doing that don't lead to that aren't really IPAs, aren't income producing activities. It's very easy to spend a lot of time on Facebook that isn't actually an IPA. Good activity is obviously placing adverts, is placing products on Facebook, etc., etc. Good activity in other rods is getting out flyers, cards, shop ads, car ad, all the things that are likely to generate leads and then eventually start to filter through to people coming on board is good activity. Doing things that don't lead to that, you know, it's bad activity. So it's having that philosophy and understanding that's going to eventually determine your success. So the compound effect of actually getting a 10% level going and showing others how to do 10% is ultimately going to lead to becoming a gold distributor. And this business, all it really is learning how to build that block of business that's going to lead to you becoming a gold distributor. And if you can become a gold distributor, without rolling it back, if you can learn how to do 10% so you can teach others and then get to gold distributor, you can teach other people how to become gold distributors. And it's not rocket science. It's keeping things really simple that will, with compound effect, will lead to serious results. So hitting your target, knowing your ratios. And this is a key part of your compound effect. So, you know, here's some examples of ratios. Tap and tell. There's been little stats done giving maybe £1.50 per book. So if you had 1,000, if you're looking to target £1,000, 10%, 84 books drop per week, which is 12 books daily, by the way, not a lot, that have been actually presented on a regular basis. Compound effect, doing enough of it will give you 10% on a regular basis. That's just knowing your ratios and keeping at it consistently. And here's the key: a lot of people might do it for a few days, but then give up because they've not allowed the compound effect to kick in. So Over 6 months, compound effect of building up regular customers. If you've got 200 customers and the average is £5 per catalogue pack dropped per week, will give you £1,000 per period in terms of sales. So that's 50 catalogues dropped to customers that right at the beginning might take, quite a few hundred catalogues dropped, but the consistency and the compound effect leads to something much stronger further down the road. So we've got to really get this across to new people so they understand what they're doing at the beginning to get the results they're looking for further down the road. Hitting your target, know your ratios. Just to recap on that, retail, get a customer base going, aim to develop it towards £5 per book. Some people do way more. That's £1,000 a period, which is 50 books dropped a week. So again, it's understanding the compounding effect of day-to-day activity and decisions. I just did a little bit of maths. Doing 10%, which is really the key to developing this business. Obviously, everybody can do a lot more if they have a need, but doing that 10% block is the key. If you did £40 per week orders over 20 days in a period, that will get you to 10%. £40 on a daily basis, compound effect, and it's all added up, being consistent, will get you to 10%. So we're not talking huge numbers. A lot of people, if they're currently working, or if you've got people on board who are currently working, just want to flag up an activity planner because it's so important. And when you're actually looking and designing a plan with people, especially if they're working, it's the compound effect of activity that they can fit in and around their job. So I really want to stress how important it is to use these planners to help people pile in a lot of IPAs, a lot of income producing activity around their jobs. And there's lots of things you can do early in the morning, at lunchtime, in the evening, over weekends, loads of things you can do. So highly recommend using a plan. Knowing your target and how to track it is really important. With the planner, you can get it off the Fast Track site. There's also, I think it's part of 2 pages there, you can actually have a tracker sheet, very simple. You list your targets in terms of retail through to activity and track it through the period. But it's important knowing your particular target. And 10% is 650 bonus points. I think we all know. The route to get that is your sales divided by 1.2 gives you bonus points. You can see what you're doing and you can track what your team are doing through your group sales analysis. That's emailed to everybody Wednesday and Friday, and it's daily on the DSA. So understanding that and being aware of what your team, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 people, what their targets are, and just being aware of what they're doing and helping them work towards their target, and actually getting them to use tracker sheets, so that will help them focus on achieving their target. Really useful stuff. So, I said it's going to be a short one tonight. What I suggest is develop a Slight Edge philosophy. Use that book. If you haven't got it, then get yourself the Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, I believe. Andy, Mr. Ridders has actually met Jeff in New York. So it's one of his favourite books. So really important philosophy to develop, because little daily activities, being consistent at it over a period of time, can get you paid to £1 million turnover business. And that's all I've done, small activities on a day-to-day basis for the last 24 years. And collectively, it's led me to where we are today. And anybody can do that. So that's me done. I'm going to leave you to get on with your bank holiday Monday. Hope that's with some value to you. With a bit of luck, Aidy's recorded that, so you can share it throughout the week, and it'll be on the over the next day or two. It'll be on the training site. So I'm going to disappear, let you crack on, and